Who is Stephen at the beginning of the movie? Stephen is a young, brilliant mind, wonderfully lazy and complacent. He and Jane were living at this time where, you know, the threat of the atomic bomb and the idea that their lives could end in a few minutes meant that there was a kind of a laissez-faire like quality, and I think, and Stephen admits that he did virtually no work when he was at Oxford before going to Cambridge. So what's extraordinary for me is it's when he is diagnosed with ALS and given this horrific sentence of 2 years that he catalyzes himself into realizing that this mind has to be used, and he then does so formidably. Well, the preparation was totally intriguing on this. There were many dimensions to it. The first side was trying to understand the science, and I met with one of Stephen's old students who's now a professor at Imperial in London, and he would talk me through the intricacies of string theory and space-time, and I'd be like, no, imagine I'm 7 years old. Like, talk to me like I'm 6, because I gave up science when I was a child. So understanding that side of it was one aspect. Then it was learning about ALS, about motor neuron disease, and so I went to a specialist in a clinic in London and was lucky enough to meet people who are suffering from this hideous disease and their families, and they let me into their homes and saw the emotional ramifications of people living with this. And then the last aspect was meeting Stephen and Jane, because that was, you know, really spending time with them and gleaning as much as you could from their personalities to then take into filming. Well, I mean, for me, when I read the script, I thought I was going to be reading a biopic of Stephen Hawking, and actually it was this stunning depiction of the most unconventional love story I've ever read, and it for me it's an analysis and celebration of love, but in all its guises, in young love, in hugely passionate love, in love of subject matter, love of family, but also the failings and the boundaries of love. And I thought it was very real in that sense. And even though their scenario is very specific and unique, there is a human element to it. It was working with Felicity was the dream. I've known her for years. We both started in the same theatre, a place called the Donmar Warehouse in London. There was a director there called Michael Grandage, who was a great supporter of both of ours, and I'd seen her work from a distance, but I'd admired it, but we'd never got to work together. And then when we did, it was just wonderful, particularly because these two people were so symbiotically kind of attached that having someone that you trusted and knew, she was a friend, so we got on so well. Every day it was extraordinary for me to watch her work. I love James Marsh. He is the most kind, but brilliantly intelligent, but freedom-inducing director. Like he really believes in collaboration, and he empowers everyone he's working with to give their best, and to also be brave enough to speak up if you have opinions on things. And really, this was a collaboration of, you know, Felicity, myself, James, the DP, Benoit, the costume, makeup. Every department had to work together, even more so than any film I've ever done. So he conducted all of that.